Yo, 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 welcome everybody to TCR, Trinity Competitive Racing, and welcome to round number 2 for the Japanese Grand Prix here in the silver class. And as always, in season 15, we are live on both the YouTube and the Twitch, and we encourage you to watch on your preferred platform. It is a rainy qualifying here on the intermediates. We got 15 drivers out on track. It is myself, C. Freeze, doing the main commentary tonight. Alongside, we have my usual co-commentator, D'Angelo, and we will be bringing you tonight all the proceedings that will follow. It's going to be a hectic Japanese Grand Prix. Want to welcome everybody into the stream. It was a great first round last week at Australia. A lot of crazy stuff has happened, and a lot of support we have had throughout our first round back in to season 15, and I really want to appreciate and thank all the support. We hit 550 subscribers on the YouTube, and we're halfway to 600, so keep showing your guys' support. It is definitely appreciated, and hopefully we get there sometime soon. But for the time being, D'Angelo, welcome to round 2, welcome to season 15. What are we expecting here tonight?
Yeah, it's great to be back. I was here for preseason testing, but unfortunately, due to time management and constraints and stuff, I was not able to be here last week for a good race that I did watch back. But Japan, we all love this track. It is a very technical circuit. Really, not really any high speeds because there's only one DRS zone around usually a 1:29 pole lap around here. But we are in the wet. So there are 27 laps, and in this game, it's not really a lot of overtaking around this track like you would see in real life. More of a technical, almost more like a Singapore kind of thing, but a lot faster. But I really feel like we're not going to see many overtakes as we have in the past.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be a tricky one too. I do see that drivers are saying it looks like it's going to be dry in the race, so this will just be a wet qualifying, I do believe. And what's interesting is, it seemed like it got a little bit more damp and wet as the time went on. I don't know if the times will decrease, because if you look, Chabar was the first one out on track and he has pole position, and his teammate went out after and wasn't able to beat it. It was just marginally. The two Alfa Romeos are out the top 1 and 2 at the moment, and that's a good time to go over the constructors tables. Because it starts with the Alfa Romeo crew. Camden and Chabar had a nice points day last week with Camden winning the race, first one of the season. Alfa Romeo has 31. Haas, which is J&B, and El Capitan, as he just took provisional pole, has 29 points with the pair of Haas, only 2 points behind. Then it comes the team of the big Toblerone and Clarkson in the AlphaTauris with 19. And then we have the McLarens of Hallberg and Baggs at 13.
Oh, Toblerone!
Oh, where's...
Toblerone just spun. Luckily, he just got wing damage.
Oh, and he was dangerously close. I know we have ghosting on, but sometimes it doesn't always ghost. He almost took J&B, but he's on an in-lap, I do believe.
Yeah, he had set up purple first sector as well, Toblerone did. He got on the curb and bottomed out on the second Degner, so that's gonna be a corner to watch. The exit of the second Degner. You're gonna want to be very careful to not get all up on the curb, because you will bottom out and it'll probably ruin your race.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you will definitely bottom out through Degner 1. There's a curb in between Degner 1 and 2, and then there's also the exit curb out of Degner 2. That is what Toblerone got sent around, and it's even more so in the wet. You can go a lot easier.
Yeah, the wet definitely is more cause for concern, especially on those Degners, because of the way the corner is, and also the lack of grip already on the cars in the wet.
It looks like some people are just going around, and
it doesn't It doesn't look like it's getting heavier at the moment.
You know what? I saw little sun riding on board with Speedy as he did go for a little spin. I don't know. It is raining, but I saw a little sun pop out. I don't know if this is going to be a consistent rain. It looks like it's getting drier, the track. Maybe the times will improve.
Yeah, the track does seem like it's going to get drier, but I don't think anyone will be able to do a lap on dries. I don't think it'll.
Nah.
I don't think it'll dry that quick.
Right at the last moment, if you're someone at the back who's usually doesn't qualify, maybe you try to do something different, put on those soft rubber tires and see what you could do. Maybe you get luck with Mother Nature.
Yeah, definitely a risk, but I feel like if you're towards the back in this qualifying session, it might not be a bad idea to try.
We do have Carson on a lap here in the AlphaTauri, but he doesn't. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna. Oh, he's doing the Latifi corner. What is this? He's golfing.
He's doing the long pit entry.
What was that? The rally layout or something?
I don't know. That's a pit entry though. It's just not the F1 pit entry, which I don't know why they don't use that pit entry. Because the pit entry that they use now is kind of dangerous and really short.
Yeah, it is short. Yeah, and you know what? The last corner we saw last season, so many times people will spin, and I even did it in practice a little bit this week. You spin out of the last corner, man, you can hit that pit wall.
Yeah, and you'll either retire from the race because of wheel damage, or your side pods get damaged. However you hit it, and it's just like it's a terrible spot. Because the reason you spin is because you got that little dip in the ground, makes your car jump and go all kabooey.
Well, Formula Jonah was going through Spoon on a lap. He spun. We also have Nas, who has no front wing. He must have went around or had contact with another driver. Halberg has an invalid lap time. Bags is on a slow one, probably an out lap, I'd say. So where's all the good laps coming from? Let's see who's on a lap. Chabar's up by a little bit. You know, I'm impressed with this qualifying session from Chabar so far. He's up there P2. And I told him he could get a podium here today.
Yeah, definitely gonna work on. It'll definitely be the right spot, especially if it does stay really wet, and then he can keep improving his time. But J&B though, with that 137.2 in the wet, like that's blazing for the wet around this track.
Yeah, purple middle sector. He's up by 1/10.5. He does have a Haas in front of him. Will that distract him? No, he hits the apex quite nicely. Avoid the exit curb. Nice on the throttle. A little late, but good enough. He did improve by 4/10. Wow. Not enough to get J&B. He had probably improved as well. But that's telling me the lap times are improving a little bit.
Yeah, they're definitely improving a little bit, but J&B did that while the conditions were at their worst. So, and he's on an out lap right now, so it's going to be very interesting to see what he does improvement-wise. If Chabar had a better first sector, as Oreo jumps him now, but if Chabar had a better first sector, he might have gotten provisional pole right there.
Yeah, Camden was on a lap. He invalidated. He went into the pit lane. There's still 6.5 minutes left. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in for round number 2 of the Silver class. Definitely appreciate all the comments coming in. Someone saying, oh, that's B-Tom. He says he's never saw someone take that route into the pits. I haven't either. I didn't even know that existed. The way he went in there like that.
I think MotoGP might use that entry.
It's interesting. We have Rafa Hulk, last season's Silver Class champion, is in the comments. We got some champions in the comments. We got Sir Charles in the comments. Another Silver champion, 3-time champion, Platinum. B-Tom is in the comments.
Star-studded comment section today.
It's a Hall of Fame lineup, let me tell you. Well, anywho, tonight's the Silver Class. For those who are new, you could always hope you enjoy the show tonight. We're going to get a lot of action. Tomorrow's the Golden Class, same time, same place, on a you talk about star-studded lineup. I mean, that is insane, how good that is for the Golden Class.
3 previous Silver champions.
4. Yeah,
4? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We have 4 Silver champions on the Golden roster. Platinum was really close, chaotic finish. A good one for us, right, D'Angelo? But that's going to be Thursday. Oh, Toblerone. Just narrowly misses out on provisional, but that'll put him on the front row of the grid.
Toblerone might be going on another one too, but no, I think he's backing out. Or he's gonna save his fuel and then go on another one real soon, right after this little out-in lap kind of deal. J&B though, I think is on his flyer, or just did it. He is on his flyer right now.
And his teammate just went for a spin in the S section. Let's ride on board with J&B a half a second up. So big improvements.
It's a little close on riding that curve there. Almost bottoming out, but he rides it perfectly. Third gear in the wet on the round the hairpin there. Gets a good drive out of it as well.
And J&B had pole last week. He started pole position for the Australian Grand Prix, but he got taken out by Carson and lap 1, turn 1 incident. But he did finish. He was able to come home and finish
I don't
5th.
remember.
So he had a decent recovery drive, but I guess he's looking for a little bit more. He's looking to get that first win in TCR, first podium.
Purple first, second sector as well. Seems like he's hitting the apexes on this chicane really nicely too. Can he keep it clean on this bumpy exit here around to the line? He's going to get in the 136s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to catch that.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think if anyone, let's see who else is on a lap. Who's next to cross the line? It's going to be a Ferrari. It's going to be Jonah, but he is on an outlap. We have some Mercedes. That's going to be... We are checking. Nice lap by him. He struggled last week, but this is good for him in his qualifying effort. 5th place at the moment. He's on an invalid lap time, though. Yeah, he's going to have to come in.
Yeah, he's going to go in.
CJ's invalid as well.
CJ's about to start a flyer, though.
It was heartbreak for CJ last week. Such good pace. I think you're going to see some good pace here as well from him.
I think Camden's either on an outlap or a flyer. He's using batteries. I think he's on a flyer.
Yeah, I think he's on a flyer. He's 8/10 up, so that'll put him right around P2. See if he has anything
if he gets a good drive. Gets a good drive on these next few corners. He needs about a second and a third to catch up to P, or no, second and like 5/10 math. So a second and a half. It's a challenge pole here. It's a good exit, it looks like. Staying tight to the wall.
Ooh,
P2,
very close.
half a second off.
Nice effort there by Camden. I think that'll
that's going to be his last lap as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's not enough time.
The good thing in a wet qualifying session is you can just keep going and doing laps. More so in the full wet, in the intermediate.
Oh, Oreo spins on his outlap.
Oh, where is he? Oh, yeah.
Almost beached. I've been actually beached once in this game. The game makes it very hard to actually beach yourself.
That's a nice helmet, Oreo. I really like that that helmet.
I gotta change my helmet. I forgot to make an Aston helmet.
That orange and gold. Whew! Looks good.
Chabar is on a flyer. Coming to the line. Or no, he's on an outlap. This game is messing with me.
He'll have a nice time to improve. Although he did finish a lap there, which was weird. I don't know if that's a glitch. Yeah, let's see.
He's got a clear track ahead of him too, Chabar does.
CJ does not improve. The Red Bull F1 Nerd goes P2.
F1 Nerd's quick. We've seen it. We saw it last season. I think the next person across the line is
Naz. Naz is coming. Yep. Or yeah, on your end it's Kaz. Yeah. That's
are you seeing the EA?
Yeah, I'm seeing the EA name, but let's see who else. Is it CJ?
He's on a flyer.
We have Carson. Carson's coming to the line.
I think they're all on out. I think they were all on outlaps. Chabar 3/10 up in the first sector though. He will. I think he's going to be the next one to actually put a time in.
Yeah, let's ride on board with
an end lap.
20 seconds left in the session, so I think that AlphaTauri is going to be able to get a last lap. There's a Ferrari coming around, maybe getting his last lap in, as well as a Mercedes, and that's going to probably do it. Let's see the sector split. Half a second up.
The purple second sector.
This will put him right behind or challenging his teammate, maybe for the front row.
If anything, if he keeps it clean, it's going to give him a second row lockout.
Tight to the line. Let's see it. P4. 2,000.
Yep.
Behind his teammate.
Second row lockout at the moment, but can any of these drivers behind him split the Alfa Romeos or even challenge for a pole? Next across the line is going to be the Oreo.
F1 nerd finished, but he didn't improve.
Carson will be the next across the line that's valid because Oreo is invalid. Carson half a second up through sector 2. Purple second sector from Carson.
Carson to the line, let's see it. It's going to be P2, so he gets on to the front row of the grid.
Alfa Romeo's struggling in the wet, but we know how quick they are in the
Here
dry.
Comes El Capitan, goes P8, a 1-8 for Haas at the moment.
What can Carson's teammate, the big Toblerone, do?
Let's see, the big toe. Goes P2! AlphaTauri 2-3. And Speedy, not enough there. He gets P12.
Yep. Checking goes up by 1.
Yep. And that's going to do it. That was fun. That was a good qualifying, but it was J and B who just had that
dominating
nice edge over the rest of the competition.
But it was in the wet. It's going to be interesting to see what the drivers do, what they can to their setup, because they probably made it a little bit more for the wet before Parc Fermé gets enabled. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with their wing angles on the front.
So there you have it. J&B claims his second pole position. He's 2 for 2 in season 15. The big Toblerone gets up onto the front row. His teammate will be right behind him. F1 Nerd splits the two alphas, the two different alpha teams. Camden Luca, last week's winner, will start 5th with his teammate in P6. Oreo is in 7th for the top Aston Martin. El Capitan is a 1-8 for Haas. We are checking good qualifying for him. He struggled last week. He'll start 9th. Call me CJ, DNF'd in Australia last week. Poor qualifying, he'll start 10th. We have Halberg, Speedy, Formula Jonah, the struggling Ferraris right now, with Bags and Nas. So we have 15 drivers here. I think we still have a few seats open, so if you'd like to join the grid for season 15, it's still not too late. You can go over to our website down below, and just like that, sunny days, you can go down into the description. Check over to the website. You can sign up and join our Discord. Our Discord has some more information, so you can see our points and announcements and stay up all to date with TCR. We're the most active in Discord. So yeah, join us out. Check us out. The race is going to be starting soon. The drivers are picking up all their setups and strategy. Maybe fine-tuning, switching if they did anything different with the wet to the dry, possibly. They're figuring all that. We already have some predictions. Rafa Hulk is starting them up, and you know what that means. It's prediction time. Leave your top 3 in the comments below. Rafa Hulk goes with J&B with the win. F1 Nerd P2. And Camden Luca, his rival from last season, he'll put him P3. Leave your comments down below, and we will look at them. D'Angelo, what are you going for today?
I think I'm going to go with Rafa Hulk on the winner. I'm going to put J&B at P1, but then I'm going to go with the big Toblerone in P2. He showed pretty good pace from what I saw when I rewatched the race last week as well. So I think he'll get P2. Also starting on the hard tires, the top second place in the Toblerone as well. And I'm going to go Chapar P3. I think he's going to overtake his teammate. I think some stuff's going to happen up towards the front, and I think he's going to get another podium here.
And interesting to know, we have a little split strategy. The two AlphaTauris starting on the hard tire, so that could impact your decision. They're starting on the hard tire. Pretty much everyone else on the mediums besides El Capitan in 8th, and Speedy and Nas at the rear. This is a tough one for me. I really like J&B's pace. I just thought last week he had a lot of penalties. And I know you're not really going to get many penalties here in Japan, but if you were going to be cutting corners and making mistakes, you're going to be off the track. And I just don't know how that's going to play out. That's the only thing. It's really tricky for me to say. I'm going to go with the big Toblerone for the win today. I think he was impressive last week. I think he's got the track position. He's quite quick. He did spin last week on the opening lap, so if he could stay clean, I think he can get there at the end. I like Camden Luca for second. Starting a little farther back will hurt him, but I think he'll have the pace advantage over the others. And Chabar, I told him, I said he could get a podium today. I think his good qualifying effort could promote him to third. So I'm going to go Toblerone, Camden, Chabar, an all alpha lineup.
I'm so glad we have formation lap back on. We can actually do predictions quick, and not be rushed.
Not only that, but it gives me a chance to breathe and get a sip of water.
Also a thing with the formation lap, since we didn't run it last season. Gotta make sure you put your car in a good spot.
Yeah, you know what? That was difficult last week. Hey, you spun on the on the opening lap. On the formation.
I spun trying to fire up my tires right before the last corner. That's why I did that.
Well,
no,
Camden
DSQ'd.
Oh, that's not good. Here we go. Nice. Oh, F1 nerd also. You gotta hit it in park when you get up there. You can't leave it in gear. Oh, there's another one. You gotta put the emergency brake on. Make sure that thing ain't going nowhere.
Speedy's trying to hit the spin method.
Alright, so as the drivers line up, all 15 for round number 2 of the silver class.
Oh, this will be fun.
A long wait here. The lights coming on now for the Japanese Grand Prix here in the silver class. It's season 15 and it is go time. Let's do it here at Japan. The AlphaTauris just pushed over the Haas. What a great start. 1 and 2, they'll lead into 1. Camden around the outside. Yeah, he's going to get F1 Nerd. Chabar staying in 6th. Side by side, Camden gets it into the S section. It's single file all the way back. What a great start from those two AlphaTauris as we have Bags. Big improvement. He started last. He's up, or I think 14th. He's already up to 9th, looking on the back door of El Capitan, who's on those harder tires. As we go up a little bit further, J&B, yes, did get past Carson, so he was able to get one of them.
A little bit of wheel banging from what I saw as well when I went on board with Carson. Camden in a good spot though, because he's going to be quicker than Carson early in the stage, but those mediums, as we have seen in practice, they do tend to fall off really quick on large fuel loads.
Coming through Spoon, Curve. You see J&B only 4/10 behind. Not really using battery here, but he's definitely he's on the quicker tire, so this is going to help him probably get past.
There's a line of fork. There's a train from 11th to 14th right now. Speedy's going to go down the inside of 130R on the hard tires. Gets around Halberg. Speedy moves up to P12.
And his teammate Jonah will get Halberg around. Looks like Halberg picked up some damage on the opening lap. He'll be the only one to pit. We have Bags on El Capitan into turn 1. He'll get that P8. Those hard tires take a little longer to warm up.
J&B on the gearbox of Toblerone right now.
Yeah, he's got to play this patient. Or not. Just go for it. Side by side through Degner 1. Who's going to lift? No one.
Someone's got to yield.
No one does. The big toe. Toblerone.
Toblerone not letting J&B get away with it easily. This is going to let Carson come right up into the mix. If I'm the AlphaTauris here, I sandwich the Haas.
I thought that was aggressive, but you know what? Early in this race, track position is too crucial to give up, and man, they just fit through Degner 1. J&B went up on that curbing, which you could bottom out there, easy to spin, but good that they weren't, spun around there. That could have been an easy spin.
If you're the Alfa Romeo of Camden right now, you are loving what you're watching in front of you right now as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, these AlphaTauris and J&B. Oh, he misses the apex a little bit. Oh, he hits the back gearbox a little bit. No DRS, no chip of the wing. It looks like the wing will be fine.
DRS is now active.
Oh, here we go, yep. They'll get that detection zone. They'll really be able to use it at the end of this one.
Camden has shown pretty good pace right now. He's playing his game. Already only 73% battery, but yeah, top 4 or 5 seem like they're in the 70s already.
Man, J&B's all over the big Toblerone.
I think that just shows the pace of the medium tires early in the stint. But if J&B keeps pushing those medium tires, they're going to run out of life really fast. Oh, J&B spin!
He went for it. He spun it. He didn't go for an overtake, but he probably hit the curb a little bit.
I think he hit the curb and also the dirty air.
Yeah, that's the aggressiveness I was talking about. That's why I didn't pick him for the win. I'm not sure about his consistency throughout the race. And last week he did spin on the opening lap, but that was kind of help from Carson. This week maybe more himself inflicted. But that's going to put him behind his teammate. So 8 and 9 right now for the Haas's. Not too good as Speedy gets past. We are checking, possibly through Spoon Curve. Yes, he does. Around the outside. Nice move there from Speedy. Oh,
checking
man.
Seems to be struggling a little bit. Going really slow through Spoon. And yeah, look, he's under pressure by CJ already.
And we have DRS now. Camden Luca with those medium tires is now the lead medium tire runner. He's going to have DRS on Carson. But
I think he's just abiding his time. I don't think he's going to go for anything here. No, he will not. Very close to Carson, though. Carson makes one small mistake. Camden's going to take advantage.
And he's got F1 Nerd, another medium runner right behind him. Chabar and Oreo. They're all in this little pack here.
So Carson might be doing some little team orders here. It almost seems like Carson's backing Camden up to keep that gap between him and Toblerone a little bit wider.
Yeah, that could be a little gamesmanship up the top. The AlphaTauris leading this race. They're in the party, probably 100% with each other. Could be.
Camden, though, I just don't think Carson can, especially if it happens in the next couple of laps, I don't think Carson will be able to keep up with the pace of Camden.
Yeah, I think Camden
good for about 3 or 4 more laps. Definitely 3 or 4 more laps.
Yeah, no, they're going to be a lot quicker for, like you just said, 3-4 laps. I think Camden will be eager to pass them. I think he's got to use the battery now and start getting past.
He's got to worry about F1 Nerd now. F1 Nerd's within 2/10.
Yeah, when you got a train behind you like Camden does, you can't wait and you got to go. As El Capitan gets bags and J&B around the outside in the hair into the chicane. This is a double overtake for Haas.
Oh, yep. J&B within his right to kind of make the line and shove bags off the circuit as well.
Yeah, and after that spin earlier, he's on a move now. Capitan lets his teammate by, but in doing so, kinda allows bags to go around the outside. Oh, it's a spin.
I think he made a little bit of contact with Bags' right rear. It's going to allow Jonah and probably Speedy to get by. Speedy's going to play it safe. That's a warning. Oh no, Speedy.
What do we?
Got to be careful.
Oh yeah.
Beatty hit the back of El Capitan because Capitan started spinning because of his tire temps.
Look at this. Nice exit out of the hairpin. Maybe Carson went a little deep. Camden's still pressuring.
Catching. Carson's using a little bit more battery than Camden too, trying to stay ahead. Oh, Camden goes way wide.
Yeah.
I don't know if
give him a good run though, honestly.
Yeah,
but no, not actually.
It's gonna be a warning, but here comes F1 Nerd now though too. Is F1 Nerd gonna pull a Fernando Alonso right now? He thought about it.
Yeah, he lifted there, which was a smart thing to do, only on lap 5. You don't want to risk getting injured through 130 or...
Literally injured.
The big toe out in front, he's at the fastest lap of 34.4, but J&B takes it by 1 more tenth.
Yeah, I think even though J&B just set it on mediums, I think these mediums are starting to wear down. You can definitely tell they're starting to become slower.
Yeah, this is the stage of the Grand Prix when the tires are starting to wear a little bit more. You're not going to have as much grip as you did on the opening lap, so when you're that close to drivers in front like Camden is, you really do have to be careful. You don't go for a spin. You gotta kind of anticipate what grip you might have. He gets a nice run here. Will we go down the hairpin? He lifted a little bit. It's kind of tight through there.
Oh, Carson though wide again. Goes a little deep, but gets a good exit.
Yeah, that's kind of been his line the last few laps. He kind of likes to just swing it in there and go around the outside.
Just kind of floor it all the way out.
I think Camden is going to get him here.
If it's not here, it might be on the DRS straight.
Carson's got 35% of the battery. Not using any, but it looks like he's pretty slippy in the straight line.
F1 Nerd. 65% battery, and he is right there with Camden.
Let's see the run that Camden gets on the final corner.
Gets a decent one. Yeah, he's gonna try it here.
Yeah, inside line.
Easy.
Not only that, but F1 Nerd's coming around. F1 Nerd's going around the outside. Will he get Camden into one? No, Camden covers it off.
Yeah, Carson was just a sitting duck for both of them there, and he's probably about to be a sitting duck for Jabbar as well.
That was some good racing between those three pair of the drivers, not to make any contact. And look already, the grip. Camden's already within a second of the leader here.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that Camden wasn't...
Oh, he goes for a spin, the big toe! Watch, he comes back on the circuit! No! He's out, the leader. He's spun it.
That's the thing. If you haven't won a race before, or if you've never felt the pressure of leading, it's gonna get to you. Especially in TCR, where anything can happen. But now, your Alfa Romeo of Mr. Camden is now in the lead.
Yeah. Not only that, but you look back on track, and it's kind of like where we were a few, maybe lap 2, the big toe leading J&B, but this time for 6th and 7th, those two drivers have spun 2 races in a row, so that's something to keep note of as we move through this season.
Carson's all over the back of F1 Nerd now.
Camden Lucas sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with 33.9. He inherits the lead after the big toe
Look at Carson
spins from the lead. Yep, here comes Carson.
He's gonna get a good run. F1 Nerd though just covers off the outside part of the run that he needed.
Good battle here for second. F1 Nerd did not have the DRS from Camden, so that made him vulnerable from Carson behind. But Jabbar had a lift big, heavy, out exiting the S section. He almost ran into the back of Carson.
Yeah, it seems like the hards are struggling more than the mediums I thought would right now. Because Carson's about to be a sitting duck for Jabbar on when they get to the DRS straight.
Yeah, I don't know, because he'll have the DRS from the car in front, so honestly, I think he'll be fine. I'd be more worried about F1 Nerd.
He's been... Carson, though, from what I've seen the past couple of laps, his chicane exit has not been what it was in the first couple. So, Camden, though, dear God. 2-second gap already to F1 Nerd.
Yeah, he wants this one to stay green, I tell you that. He is no doubt the leader on pace and consistency right now. Let's see the exit Carson gets. He's going to have DRS on F1 Nerd, and I think
it's decent.
F1 Nerd he's going to be all right now. We have a yellow. Who's this going to be? It's going to be a Haas. El Capitan. Yep. Ooh, no.
Went for a little spin. He's going to have blue flags, too. He's going to have to go to the grass.
You know what? He pitted as well. I wonder if he spun on pit exit, but he's going to have Camden coming around.
His mediums are 2 laps old.
Yeah, well, he definitely pitted it. So, oh, there he goes again.
Yeah, I think Capitan's race is pretty much over. Unless we get some craziness. I mean, it is silver class. Jabbar, though, showing really good pace, keeping up with definitely the faster guys, in my opinion, in front of him right now.
Yeah, this is really the first race from Jabbar that he's actually with the lead group on pure pace ever in TCR and silver class. So this is really encouraging to see where he's improved upon, and he's doing it for a whole stint for the moment.
Yeah, I think we're about to see some pit stops from the medium guys here in a lap or so. If not this lap, definitely lap 10.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to get an undercut from the drivers in front, especially if you're stuck in a train like this. Will Jabbar or maybe Oreo, maybe Oreo is more likely to head in there and possibly get that undercut working for him.
Look at Carson all over the back of F1 Nerd. F1 Nerd stays out, Jabbar is in.
He's working on that undercut. We talked about that in practice, but he's going to speed into the pit lane. He was too eager to work it, and that's going to
Carson down the inside. Him. That is brutal if you're Jabbar, because Carson gets around F1 Nerd, and F1 Nerd stays out as well. That is brutal if you're Jabbar.
Yeah, that's a Uno reverse card.
You.
And who's this? So Capitan calls it a day. He had a great last podium last week in his return to TCR. This week he will be finishing in the pit lane. And yeah, Carson was able to get past F1 Nerd with that DRS. I think those hards are going to take over from these worn mediums. You look to see maybe F1 Nerd will try to cover off. He'll probably pit this lap.
Yeah, F1 Nerd, he's starting to drop behind Carson now by a good bit as well. I think F1 Nerd goes in. But don't count out Jabbar, because if there's a safety car... not even there's a safety car, because he can't serve it under safety car. So...
Yeah, he's just going to have to gap him, but that's definitely going to hurt his race, unless all these other drivers are going to have some problems too. Let's look at the pit lane here. F1 Nerd stays out. Camden comes in, which is interesting, as the leader.
Yeah, F1, I don't... Oh, J and B. F1 Nerd trying to stick it out, and he's a lot slower than the hards. I don't think that's the right decision for F1 Nerd.
See where Camden comes out. He's coming out now. He'll get right in front of Formula Jonah.
Bags is the first to fall to the track limit warning penalty.
Now, Jabbar did actually get jumped by J and B. J and B went into the pit lane. They both were speeding. So they're quick today, just not where you need it on track.
Jabbar's going to be a lot quicker right now, though, because the J and B's cold. Super cold tires.
Yeah, you got to watch. This is where he spun it earlier in the race. Let's see. J and B, he keeps it clean.
Little scary, though, the way he went into that corner. I think. Oh, someone spun. Toblerone spun.
Second time today.
And Spoon.
It's gonna hurt his race big time.
Yeah, because now he's way behind Oreo, F1 Nerd, and Course. Look at Oreo though in P3. Granted, it's probably net like P6, but still. Never would have.
Nerd
Never
is coming in.
Oreo stays out. I wonder if Oreo's hoping for a safety car.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do something different, right? I mean, if your tires are good and you know you're the driver behind, you might as well stay out, try to catch your safety car.
Thing that's gonna hurt Oreo. He has 10% battery.
Yeah, if anything, I think he'll be coming in this time by. Camden easily gets a nice gap on F1 Nerd. He's already into turn 2. F1 Nerd's just out of the pit lane.
We are checking spun. I don't know what happened there. And he got a 5-second penalty. Oh, J&B and F1 Nerd.
Oh, really tried around the outside in the end section. Oh, contact! F1 Nerd spins it around into the gravel.
That's going to be a penalty for J&B.
Yeah. And F1 Nerd was doing good. He was looking for a podium here today, and that's going to hurt him.
Yeah,
he could still get it, but that opens the door for Oreo.
Yeah, because F1 Nerd definitely lost about 7-8 seconds.
Because right now it's going to be Carson, Camden, and Oreo. Looks like your podium, in my opinion. Because J&B Chabor had penalties. F1 Nerd just spun.
Yeah, that's gonna even hurt J&B's race even more post race. Because that's gonna be a penalty, 100%. His F1 Nerd was entitled to his line because he was ahead. And that's just unfortunate for F1 Nerd, who was running a really good race. Oreo's still out on those mediums. He still seems pretty quick as well. Granted, dropping time to Carson, but that's because the hards are in their prime right now compared to the mediums.
Yeah, I wonder if he knew more of the situation of the race, of what's happening behind him. I wonder if he'd be more inclined to pit, get on those hard tires, because I really do think he's in a good position for P3 here today.
I think he pits now. I think at this point as a driver you have to be like, okay, there's no safety car coming out like now, so I think he has to go in. I mean, his tires don't look too terrible. I mean, they're starting to get that, like, thread in the middle that you see when they're about 50-60%. So they're not in the shape I thought they would be in. At this point, I thought they would be in, like, 70 range.
Got a little bit of a train forming behind Formula Jonah.
Yep, here comes Oreo.
Yep, Oreo's into the pit lane. Does he keep it clean? Yes, he does. The
next probably next 3 or 4 laps actually, I think the hards will start coming in because they'll be lighter on fuel, so the mediums won't wear nearly as bad. Where's Oreo going to come out in? Oreo's going to come out behind J&B.
I would say maybe behind Chabor.
Yep, it's going to be behind Chabor too, but they both have penalties. Both 5-second penalties too. So.
And he's going to have a tire advantage of maybe a few laps, but he's going to have to warm them up.
Oreo's in a good spot right now.
Halberg is in as well. He's switching onto the hards. CJ not really having that pace like he did last week. He's P10 right now. Picked up a position into the pit lane. See where Halberg comes out. Halberg coming right behind. We are checking. He'll be close on exit. No.
Not really not that close.
So we're going to go on to lap 15 of the Grand Prix, more than halfway in this race. Carson and the Big Tobe is leading this race. The two Alpha Tauris. The Big Toblerone went for a few spins in this race, but Carson looks to have challenging for possibly the win, as he'll be on the quicker tire later on in this Grand Prix. But it does seem like Camden, with that clean air, that nice pace that he was able to show, gapping these drivers, he'll be good to go on to the end of the race.
Yeah, Camden will be just fine on hard tires compared to mediums. It's just a matter of...
Yeah, his biggest threat's going to be with Carson. Will the Delta Carson will definitely come out behind Camden Luca, but with those mediums towards the end of the Grand Prix, will he be able to catch him and pass him?
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing. Carson has shown good pace, but Camden on those mediums, compared to the hard runners, when the mediums are starting to fall off, just started blasting away. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to go down. Gotta be careful with the warnings now too. It almost looked like he went a little bit wide. I'm gonna check the warning stuff right now. Nope, Camden has no warnings. CJ with a 3-second penalty. I think the medium runners head in pretty soon, or the hard runners head in really soon.
Yeah, I was just going to ask when you think that might happen. I think maybe this lap, I would say, is a good point.
Yes, 16 or 17.
Yeah,
it might be. Carson might be
mediums at the end will
7.
be better because the low fuel, they'll be able to.
Yeah, they won't
really
be as worn. They won't be as worn either because the car's not as heavy, so they're not pushing them around as hard. I think, which honestly, the two AlphaTauris are so far apart, they could double stack here, so wouldn't really be a double stack, but
yeah, definitely not. Yeah, they'd have that. They have the gap.
Yeah, I think Carson and Toblerone come in this lap, personally.
F1 Nerd able to reel in Oreo. This is for 6th at the moment. It looks like Oreo wasn't able to stick with that group ahead, so he's not going to be able to get that position on J&B and Jabbar, which is kind of shocking. We'll see how that is throughout, but we got Carson from the lead. Will pit in.
Yep, here comes Toblerone. I don't know if he's going to pit, though. Sector 1 yellow. Looks like one of the Mercedes. Yep, Toblerone is in as well. Will Carson come out ahead of Camden? He might come out ahead of Camden here.
Nah, Camden's got it.
Yeah, it's just the way it looked. Yep, easily actually.
Yeah, it'll be about 5-6 seconds maybe.
J&B comes out behind, or Carson comes out ahead of J&B as well. Toblerone will come out in 5th, it looks like, unless Oreo can speed past them. And he will, so will F1 Nerd. Now the hunt is on to Camden Luca if you're Carson.
Yeah, the gap's a lot closer than I expected. You got about 4 seconds. Maybe it'll take a little bit of time to get that thing up. He's still losing a few tenths through these corners. But yeah, you got 10 laps, a decent gap. I think he definitely do it. No penalties as well. We'll keep that clean. I think he'll be alright. Just think to note, Bags retired in the pit lane, so he'll be DNF'd in this race. He had a nice race last week, getting a top 5, but not today. Can't win them all, Bags. Can't win them all.
Nope, especially in this league. TCR is built different.
Big moment from F1 Nerd following Oreo. That's for 5th. Also, they're a lot closer than I thought. J&B is right behind Carson.
Yep, he is.
Jabbar's not only a couple seconds back. But if anything happens, Chabar could still get a podium because he's got a nice gap to behind to Oreo. As Camden Luca setting fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 33.3. Now he's turning up the juice, looking at that gap behind with Carson on those fresh medium tires. He said, "Oh, I better get a move on."
JNB, he could still get a podium, but he's gonna have to gap. He's gonna have. Well, actually, no, not anymore. Because if he just finishes ahead of Chabar, he's gonna have a podium.
Oh, Sir Charles in the comments says Oreo had spun, so at some point that's probably why he lost that gap. But that makes a little bit more sense. That is why he has an 8.5 second gap behind. Thanks for that. Didn't catch that.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't even see a yellow flag. I don't think for that either. Maybe it was just like a half spin kind of deal.
It was probably when all the chaos was happening. When everybody pits, it gets a little crazy. I do prefer the safety car pits. It's a lot easier to regroup the race, see what's happening. When it stays long green, a lot of stuff happens.
I know what Chabar is thinking right now. He's hoping J&B goes for another self-spin.
Yeah, that would be nice for him. It doesn't look like that penalty is really going to hurt him much, but it would if he didn't get the penalty, he would have been able to maybe get it from J&B, you know.
Actually, I think J&B also has a 3 second.
Yeah, let's look at... No, only 5. 5 for both. CJ's got 3. Let's look at the biggest winners and movers of today's Grand Prix. We got the...
J&B does need one more warning, though.
One more warning. The biggest winner today is Jonah for the time being, up 5 positions. The biggest loser is going to be El Capitan, down 7, retiring. So, pretty good there.
If J&B gets one more warning, he's got that 3 second, which he's already got 2, and there's still plenty of time for him to screw it up. Also, no battery on J&B either, hardly. Also, J&B catching up really quickly to Carson.
No, he's sticking with him. Definitely, for sure. And you know what? The gap between Camden and Carson's been pretty much the same, about 4 seconds. So, we'll see if that comes down a little later on. But
I think if you're Carson, you have to be very wary of J&B behind you now, because J&B is going to go for whatever, from what we've seen. And if you're Chabar, you're hoping they just crash.
And, well, it's a good possibility. Look what happened last week. It was Carson who took out J&B in the first corner of lap 1. J&B could return the favor easily.
Might be trying to return the favor. Ooh, Carson looked like he cut that a little bit.
The thing what J&B is doing, which I do, well, he did get the fastest lap, so that's good. But, he's using battery. He's using battery when he doesn't have any, which isn't really a good thing to do. Like, if you're gonna use battery, you got to use it to pass someone, or like, you know, if you have an abundance of it. But it seems like he's just using it to stick with Carson. But it's not gonna be enough to really get him past. But you know, what am I? Who's to say?
Carson's gonna have to make it. Carson's going to have to make a big mistake if he's going to get past, because he has literally no battery. Carson going really slow, though. Oh, my God.
Yeah. What was that?
Oh, Carson, is he going to send it? No, he's going to think better of it.
That's really confusing. I don't know where the pace has gone with Carson. It looked like he was a lot stronger on the hard tire than he is on the medium.
I don't know what happened there. I wonder if he lifted off a little bit much or what.
He's having downshift problems or something. I don't know.
Something, because he's losing a lot of time.
Electrical component. I don't know. A little train behind Oreo. We got F1 Nerd in 6th, the Big Toblerone in 7th. Looks like if anyone's going to be passing, it's going to be the AlphaTauri. He's got those quicker tires on. And you can see the light blinking at the back of the Aston Martin. F1 Nerd might be going for a move through 130R. Maybe he'll do it into the chicane. Will he go for a dive? He's also low in the battery. He's going to think better of it. He'll have the DRS as as well as the big Tobe. Let's see what happens.
Wait for DRS.
Here comes Toblerone. He's going to look inside, but he's got a slow Aston Martin. He might take them both, but he lifts and he spins it. He spins it on the curb.
He's got damage.
What looked like a highlight reel just went the opposite.
As Sports Center, not top 10.
Man, he'll have to pit. Oh, that looked like it could have been a really good move, getting both of them. But he was trying to overtake F1 Nerd, and then he went to the inside and he saw a slow Oreo, a double stuffed Oreo, just right on the apex. And not his fault. It's just when you have that double slipstream effect, full battery from behind, that's a great closing rate. Well, this is interesting because it seems as though we would have had a battle for the win with Carson, but it doesn't seem like he's got pace. And honestly, I don't know why you would even let J and B try to be that close. He's got 50% battery. You'd probably think if you're Carson, you came out of the pit lane, you use some battery, try to close the gap. But he really let J and B get to the back, let him get in that DRS, and pass him. And now instead of going and trying to get close in on Camden, now he's got a Haas with 5-second penalty to deal with. It's just going to ruin his momentum, and that's really leaving Camden out in front to kind of realize the situation and be like, oh, all right, I'm still gaining time on the slower tire. Laps are ticking down. This could go 2 for 2 for Camden.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it right now, but stranger things have happened. By stranger things, I mean safety car like right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to get one, it would have to come within the next few laps. Something would have to happen. Something pretty soon. Oh, here comes Tobe. Oh, watch it.
On cold softs, but softs fire up really quickly. So. Carson out of the DRS now.
Yeah, he should be able to pull away from CJ easily. Work on that gap from Jonah. Even though it's 12 seconds, he'll be slicing and dicing. I'll tell you that much.
I don't think. Yeah, and also Chabar is out of podium distance now because J&B is just blowing past Carson at this point, and Chabar is 8 seconds behind Carson.
Yeah, you know what? He's under threat to losing not 1 but 2 positions because Oreo 6.5 back. He needs to gain another 2.5, and F1 Nerd probably 2.5. So they're closing in on Chabar unless these two start to battle and have some tire wear issues.
Have some fun times.
Yeah. I will say this. After the first race last week in Silver Class, I was really impressed. I did do it solo, so maybe you don't know the race, but it was a really impressive first round for the Silver Class. It looks like a nice, solid roster. Not many wrecks and spins. If anything, it's more self-inflicted, like maybe we saw today. But the racecraft has been very nice with each other.
Oreo is very slow. F1 Nerd's right on him now. Ooh, F1 Nerd getting a little dangerous though. I don't know if I think it's just lag, but F1 Nerd's wheel movements are kind of crazy.
Yeah, it could be just a little desync.
Yeah.
F1 Nerd has a strong opportunity to get past a little bit more battery than F1 Nerd. He's closing pretty quickly to 130R. He's going to look the inside. Yes, he will. He'll get it, but Oreo's still on the outside.
Oreo's going to get the DRS too. Oh, F1 Nerd! No! F1 Nerd goes a little sideways, and now Oreo has the DRS.
And he's using all the battery, but I don't know if he'll be able to get him. No, that DRS is too powerful.
Yeah, when you have no battery, it's definitely more powerful. Well, this is a kind of a sigh of relief for Camden now because you see that interval starting to go up. So, Jabbar looks like a solid P4 right now. Big Toby boy. 132.1 for fastest lap.
And what was a 12.5 second gap is now down to 9.5 for Jonah in front. Yeah, good battling there. I told you, Oreo and F1 Nerd, man, these two, they're always good with some exciting battles. Good to see. Yellow, is this Nas? Nas is or Kaz, depending on what you were looking at. Whoa, almost. Whoa.
Yeah, I think he's going
I think Camden's happy ghosting is on because I think he just had a heart attack.
I don't think he would have hit him anyway, but that's definitely scary.
That's too close. When you're leading and you have a gap, you're thinking everything is going wrong. Everything you're thinking about every little thing. You want this race to go perfectly, and
here we go,
man.
F1 Nerd Oreo again.
F1 Nerd should have an easier time with the DRS into turn 1.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Oreo sticking around the outside, but no, F1 Nerd will get it. Let's see if Oreo can stick with the Red Bull driver, but
I think he might be able to.
I mean, these two have been right with each other in that second stint. Just want to take this time while we have a few laps left of the Grand Prix to thank everyone for tuning in. I appreciate all the comments and viewers here tonight. Remember, we have the Golden class tomorrow, same time, same place. The Platinum class is on Thursday. You could check the description for more information on how to join and sign up. We still have a few seats around league-wide. You could get a seat. We'll get you on the grid for next week. You could also join our Discord where we have more information and we are the most active. We also hit 550 subscribers on the YouTube channel, so that's a pretty great milestone. We're almost at the round number 600. So keep bringing in those likes and views and all that good stuff. It's definitely appreciated. We're going to have a great season 15.
Now, the big thing is, can F1 Nerd stay ahead of Oreo, and can F1 Nerd get within that 5-second gap of Jabbar to get a P4? That's the big question. Also, as of right now, J and B does finish third. Because Carson did get back within that 5 seconds.
Yes, yeah, he would get third. Yep.
I think if you're Jabbar, you start using that battery sparingly, but you start using it.
Yeah, it's go time now. You gotta dump that, baby. Just stay in contention.
Unless Oreo can muster up something. It goes way deep into the hairpin, though.
It's like whenever, when you want to be finishing these races empty, you don't want to leave any time with the battery. You don't want to finish a race, unless you're first or, no chance at the car in front. Final lap of the Grand Prix. 27 of 27. It stayed all green, which we didn't have a safety car last week either. So that is just showing the difference in year to year, season to season. In the silver class last season, we would have had 5 already by round 2. This season, a little stronger grid, I would say, as far as the racecraft, and we really haven't had any big incidents with each other. Minor tic-tacs, but nothing too bad. We love tic-tacs. They're pretty good. But, yeah, nothing wrong with a nice, solid, full green Grand Prix. It's kind of an old school way of looking at it.
Yep, definitely.
That's how they used to be, all green.
Like Jabbar is going to be safe for that P4 spot. Doesn't really look like F1 Nerd's gaining much time.
As we come into the final chicane for one more time, it'll be the Alfa Romeo of Camden Luca to grab his second win of the season. He'll go back-to-back and belly-to-belly for the start of Season 15. He'll extend his championship lead. A great race from Camden Luca. Carson will grab P2 due to the penalty that J&B had from the speeding in the pit lane. That's a nice, solid podium. Jabbar will get P4. He'll have that gap out back with F1 Nerd finishing P5. Nice moves on Oreo late in the race. He'll finish 6th. Oreo. Jonah will be P7. A solid race from him after struggling last week. Toblerone, couple spins. You'd like to think he would have had an opportunity at a podium or even a win. But he'll take the fastest lap and he'll finish 8th. CJ, struggling with pace today, but he'll finish 9th. So he'll get some first points on the board for the season. Halberg will finish 10th. Getting 1 point. Speedy, outside the points we are checking after good qualifying, unable to get any points here today. Nosbags and El Capitan are your
retirements.
Yes, sir.
Got you.
It's very rare that TCR gets done with the race before 10 o'clock, but you know what? I'm not complaining.
More practice time.
We got some practice to do, D'Angelo. We gotta follow up with what Camden was able to do here in the Freeze Foundation. It picked up a 1-4. Good start to the week. There's Camden Luca walking down. Up on the podium. Raising that trophy. Spraying the champagne. Actually, it depends. You know what? Some countries, I guess they don't allow the alcohol or whatever. They have apple cider in it, or different countries. They don't really tell you, but it's not always champagne. But they'll market it as that. A little fun fact there. But there's your standings. I already went over them. But yeah, the big Toblerone, he was able to get the fast lap, so he'll get an extra point there. But nonetheless, Alfa Romeo and Camden Luca. It's a strong start to the season. Pretty much going 2 for 2. We'll see what we can do next week. It is interesting. Next week is Brazil Sprint Week. So we'll have the sprint race, which will give extra points to the top 8, I do believe. It's the same as F1 that we do. And we have the new TCR tire stipulation. So in the 50% race, you must use all 3 tire compounds. All 3. Soft, medium, hard. I think you won't be able to pit like on the last lap, and I think that's normal rules.
You can pit 1 lap before.
Yeah, you can't pit on the last. But yes, 1 lap before. But that'll be interesting to see the strategy play out at Brazil. But we're going to get into the post-race interviews, so D'Angelo, you could do your thing. And yeah, if anyone has any questions for the top 3, leave them down below. I will try to ask them. And yeah.
Alright, let's see. To the laptop. So, Camden... I might need some help because I just have Camden and... I just have Camden added on Discord, so...
Where's the... Oh, yeah, I could, where's the showroom? Is that done?
It's under,
I gotta actually click the...
Go all the way
there
to
it
the
is, there it is.
yeah.
It wasn't loading. Alright, we're good, we're good. Yeah, I can invite him in. I got him.
Yeah, I just need to make sure I, like, add everybody in silver.
It's annoying because we gotta add him on, the JNB. And I got Carson. Let me add, JNB.
Hello.
Hello, hello. We're gonna get going in just a second. Alright, so we will start with P3 drivers not here. Okay. Well, we can't start yet. Hold up. Oh, I think he's... Alright, we're good now. He's coming. Hold up. Alright, so we will start with the Haas in P3. I think he'll be joining in any second. There we go. Alright, so we'll be joining for P3. For the Haas was JMB. Welcome. You got the pole position here today. You did go for a spin. This week it was more self-inflicted. Last week it was more contact from another alpha, but still able to finish P3 despite the speeding in the pit lane, which would have gotten you P2. Talk us through your race, and congrats on your first podium in TCR. So it shouldn't be all negative, C3, so it should be positive too. You have your first podium here, so talk us through that.
Yeah, it was a really hard race. With that spin, I dropped down to like P10, and then I had to do the undercut for the pit stop to get back up in the order, and and that 5-second time penalty. It was really unfortunate, what happened, but I still fought back. I did a great job. And, it was some good racing. At the front, everyone was staying together. It was just a good race.
Yeah, talk us through that little spin there. You went, I think Degner won. You spun. Did you take a little too much curb? You know exactly what made the car spin there.
I think I took a little bit too much curb, or I might have just got on the grass.
And looks like you have some good speed here, getting 2 pole positions. It seems to be maybe the race throughout, just minimizing those mistakes. You had a lot less penalties besides the speeding in the pit lane, but you think you can iron those things out and compete next week at Brazil?
Yes, I would try to get I would try to get no penalties next week.
All right, and how you feeling throughout the season? You think how's it been in the last 2 weeks being up at the front? You think you can maybe challenge for wins later on at some point?
Yes, I can. I'm feeling good about this season. A lot of good drivers and some fast drivers.
Awesome. Well, I hope to see that sometime soon. D'Angelo, did you have any questions for JMB?
No, you kind of touched on everything. I just, like, even with the penalties, you didn't really, in the spin, you just didn't give up, and which is really, we like to see that in TCR, and I just want to say, just keep it up.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so that was JMB. Thank you very much for that, and we will move on to the Alpha Tauri in P2 was Carson. You looked real strong on those hard tires. You had a great start as well. Just like last week, you might be too good at it. You had some great pace on the hard tires. I thought maybe you'd be able to really challenge Camden Luca at the end, but it seemed like you were struggling on those mediums, but still good enough to finish P2 here.
Yeah, the hards were the better race tire, no doubt. And I kind of knew that going in. That's why I want to start on the hards. And we had like a dream start. Me and Toblerone got up to first and second. We were just trying to keep everybody behind us, but I had a little incident, and so did he, which dropped him back and dropped me back. But once I got in the mediums, it was like I had probably like the first 3 or 4 laps to catch up, and I just couldn't do it. And then, the hards were the better tire at that point, so just couldn't get back up.
And at what point did you realize you were struggling on those mediums? I really thought there was one point you went really slow out of Degner 2, and it allowed J and B to get by. Was there any issue that caused that, or you just kind of it looked like you almost let him go?
I think I had a big snap, and I just slammed on the brakes because I didn't want to. And I knew he had a 5-second penalty, so I knew letting him go I wasn't actually losing the position, so I just wanted to keep it, lose as least amount of time as possible. So I was fine with letting him go because I knew at that point I wasn't gonna get to Camden.
Awesome. Well, good stuff there, D'Angelo. Any questions?
Yeah, actually, it's like, so yeah, me and Freeze were kind of thinking too that the hard tire is definitely gonna be the better race tire. When did you really realize that the mediums were kind of shitty?
Well, I actually had another league race last night at Japan, so I kind of had a nice practice race. But because I started on the mediums in that race, and then the top 4 or 5 finishers in that race last night were all started on hards, and I could tell that the hards were even faster than the mediums. I think because I was setting my fastest lap on 13-lap-old hards, so.
Yeah, it definitely helps when you have a league race at the same another league race at the same track as the one the next day.
Yeah, I got super lucky on that.
Yeah, good stuff. Hope to see you on the podium a lot more.
It's a plan. Thanks.
All right, and we will go to our championship leader. I know it's only round 2, but he's 2 for 2 with 2 wins starting the season. Camden Luca. You started a little farther down in the pack than last week. I think fifth-ish, but you're able to keep it clean off the start, and you had that. Once you got that track position, you were definitely the quickest one here today. Talk us through your victory.
Yeah, it's just good to get another win. Yeah, I got to work on qualifying. I know that it was different conditions than expected, but I just had a hard time finding the limit in qualifying, and then it just made it hard for me to get to the front and being back in 5th. Carson did a really good job of holding me off for a long time, actually, in the first few laps. And F1 Nerd, he had some good pace too. And then once I was able to get by them, I was just smooth sailing, And then I agree 100% with the hard tire. I wanted to get off those mediums as soon as I could, and once I was on the hards, I was just off to the races, It was pretty easy after that. Yeah,
it was, and you're right, I even forgot about the wet qualifying, even though it just happened tonight. But did that, how'd you kind of approach that? It looked like your teammate actually had some pretty good qualifying pace. He almost out-qualified you very close, between 0.02 of a second, but it seemed like you two in quali at least were really close.
He was actually joking right after qualifying. He was like, man, that's the first time I've ever done good at qualifying. So, yeah, I mean, he did great, you know, not just in qualifying, but in the race as well. For Jabbar to get P4, he's going to be right there. I would not be surprised if he not only gets a podium soon, but ends up on the top step of the podium sooner than later. But, yeah, the funny thing is, Seafreeze, I actually did wet practice before the race tonight. And for some reason, I was just awful in the wet. So that's just something I have to work on, I guess.
Yeah, and how you feeling for next week? You got Brazil, the sprint week. You also have the 3-tire stipulation. What do you think?
Forgot about that.
What's going to happen there?
Well, I hope I win. But, yeah, I like Brazil. You know, I don't want to jinx myself or put any predictions out there, but I historically have been good there. And I think the 3-tire thing will be interesting just because we really haven't done that before in TCR. So I'm sure that'll be exciting, but I'm sure we'll see, you know, the same people in this podium. I'm sure we'll see them up front, and I'm just going to have to do what I did today and last week. You know, it hasn't been easy. You know, I know these first couple of weeks I've won by a little bit of a gap, but I think their pace is right there with me. So I just got to do it all over again next week.
Absolutely. D'Angelo, any questions?
Well, actually, yeah, I do. This is about Jabbar and you. How did the practice leading up to the race like really help both of you guys in the long run for this race?
Oh, it's huge. You know, I think we do a really good job of doing everything. Like I said, I did wet practice before the race. We went over strategy. We actually practiced. We didn't have to do it tonight, but we practiced like a safety car restart. Like where would we go? You know, on the track, and it's just about being prepared, really. And I think Jabbar and I do a great job of getting on, practicing, and just making sure that we're ready.
Well, that's going to do it for this one here at, where are we at? Japan? I almost said Brazil. I'm already at Brazil. There we go with Japan. It was a nice race, some good battling, and another victory here at Alfa Romeo. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. It was nice to see some nice faces in the comments section. We'll do it again all tomorrow, same time, same place, and then again on Thursday. But for now, thank you all for watching. It was D'Angelo and myself here tonight in the Silver Class commentary booth, and we'll see you next week for Brazil. And until then, have a good night, everyone.